Come here. Just come here. I want to hold on. Come here. Go ahead. I just want to check it out.
You got a little.
Oh yeah.
It's just one.
Can I just grab?
Testes.
Testicles. Timmy.
On that note, I'd like to read you something.
Oh, here it comes.
I just wanted to share this comment I saw on YouTube that I thought was great.
Please share it.
This is from Tessa. I watched all your podcast episodes today, and I really needed this. I really needed you too. I feel like I have no purpose, and I feel like I've lost myself now that I'm 30. I want to find my spiritual side, and I want to believe in what I write. So I'm going to let your words of wisdom guide me and try to discover myself. Thank you for this. Thank you for believing in all of us as much as you do. I love you.
Oh my God.
That was really cool.
Okay, that really, yeah. That's the reason we're doing this.
That's why we're doing this, yeah.
Tessa, you're a bad bitch.
You got this. Got this fucking shit.
And then this question was on there. I thought this could be fun to answer. Queen, this is about your last episode when you mentioned synchronicity. I was wondering if I was making the right decision about something important. I said, if I see a red bird, that's the universe's way of telling me that I'm on the right path. And I walked into a Greek grocery store the next day and saw a dozen bags of coffee beans with a red bird on them.
Yeah.
Love you and your podcast.
That's exactly how it
Miranda.
happens.
Yeah, it is how it
oh
happens.
my God,
it's
I
not
love
like
that.
Traditionally, a red bird flies by. Maybe sometimes, but it'll be like, stickers
It'll be
on
like,
a laptop or some
yeah,
shit.
you'll see somebody's nail art and it'll be a red bird, and you're like, that's not even a normal nail art.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are speaking directly with the universe. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You're in the universe.
Thank you, Alex, for reading those. This is a safe space for self-discovery and bad bitchery. I am your host, Queen Herby. We are back this week with Jedi Nick, unfortunately. I'm just playing. He's wonderful, and we're so grateful. We're so grateful to have you here. Thank you. Oh, no, we're not trying the hand.
Did we do our thing
No,
again?
we tried the high fives last week, and that was an atrocious mess. But we do want to remind you that you're welcome to submit us questions on our website, on my website, queenherby.com. Also, if you leave comments on the YouTube videos, it's really easy for us to find you. I also noticed a few people on Twitter going hard. I'm not really active on Twitter, but if that's your medium, we would love to hear from you. Questions, comments. We just love to highlight our listeners because you're the reason that we're doing this shit.
I want to do a whole episode where we just answer questions, I think. Or start there.
It would be fun to do a Q&A. Okay.
Yeah, it could be more of like a bag of dicks episode.
We'll remind you at the end. But today's topic is, wow. Every week I'm like, yes, saucy, crazy, insane. This week is like, we're going to talk about healing trauma.
Okay.
Like, can we just take a deep breath for a second? I would like to talk about a lot of things. I would like this to be a fun episode, though. We're not going to be pulled into victimhood. We're not going to be angry and sad.
It's a celebration.
We're going to talk about healing trauma in the most fun and, House of Herby way possible.
Okay. I'm down. I'm here for it.
Earlier, you said we should feel good, laugh, and play with puppies. That's what I have in my notes. Okay.
That's what I said?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Just in general?
Yes.
Was there any context to that?
I don't know why. Maybe I
must have just had
it was
sushi or something.
Voice to text or something. Come up, Gary. So the dogs are always here. Luna's
Dogs
having
are
a
here.
nap on
Luna's
Nick's
hey, what's up, girl?
thigh. And Gary is currently making his own little space next to my hip.
Yep. It's a Gary Nook.
He loves to be a growth on my side.
He does.
And we are having martinis again just because it feels right. We shoot these at night.
Yep.
And it's the end of the day, and it's been a crazy motherfucking week.
Yeah. So in general, I feel like too, everybody's just been what we've noticed. I don't know if this is everybody in our world. Everybody has just been really angry and very triggered, very upset, very like fundamentally on edge
Lately.
Specifically.
We are separating from the old world, and it feels intense after the pandemic, panoramic, Pamela Anderson ended.
And we're back to like a real world all of a sudden. Everything feels like for real open. And
except for people spent 2 years alone.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, what? What just happened?
Can I also say that all the spiritual witches and wizards and woo-woos that I follow, like the astrologers, like all these talented ass people, these healers, are all talking about this intense wave of vibration coming in. This energy upgrade. I know, like, if you're not into this shit, I totally understand, but I just want you to know that those that have talents for this kind of shit are also saying this is a time that's really special. Like, I just got a new book from one of my favorite astrologers, Gall. He sent me his new book. I'll put the link in the description for you, but he is already projecting next year's energies and like helping guide us through every month. Like, maybe we'll do an episode about this shit.
That's so crazy.
So amazing. These folks literally spend, like, you might have a regular job, like 9-to-5 job. There's psychics and spiritual people that just sit there and feel the energy of the universe for you. And they're saying that this is a weird time.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So I'm not going crazy.
So that's how we're setting up this episode.
Okay, cool.
Because people are shitty sometimes, and it's never about you.
It's never about you. Fuck. That's a big 4 agreements thing too.
You just never know what they're going through. And so the only thing that we've really come to at this juncture of chaos is that it's important to be nice, to be kind.
Yeah.
It's important to be kind. We also have another person that did something nice. Thank you for sharing us with us your stories of something random that you did for a stranger.
People do that shit every week. That is fantastic.
It's pretty tight.
That's so cool. I think we'll start slow. We'll start chugging. And I think soon there'll be some tipping point where all of a sudden it just starts like going. People are just doing it.
We promise that no matter how difficult the world gets or how crazy it feels, House of Herby will always be a safe space for you to come, hang out, get some positive vibes. We're here to like not just solve problems, but like make you feel better. We love doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're trying to solve problems or anything. I think we just are talking about shit that we've experienced and learned so far.
That's true.
That's pretty much it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think we have a very, interesting perspective.
Certainly.
On some things.
Certainly. So the biggest thing that I notice about healing trauma, the biggest thing I see that, because I am kind of recently becoming aware of my own trauma. I didn't know. I was like, not me. I'm perfect. There's no way.
We did also have a crazy fucking year.
This year has been crazy. And I think that's why this is super urgent. And some of y'all.
I know everybody else has too.
Some of y'all listening have been dealing with trauma for your entire life.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes being aware of it is even worse. It's like, oh, fuck, now I have to start healing. So the biggest thing I see is that folks are unaware. Mm-hmm. They're unconscious of their trauma. A lot of times you literally, it's, by the way, a coping mechanism.
Oh yeah, sure.
To
that makes sense.
Avoid your trauma. So that's kind of what I want to start with the episode with. It's fascinating to me that even brilliant minds and creative folks and brave, courageous people, including myself, including you possibly, like have traumas that we aren't even really aware of until we bring it to the light. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's the courage that I want to start the episode with. So I did some research and we're going to talk about the exposure to trauma, the symptoms of trauma, and the recovery. Because I think I love a 3-part. Okay. I'm a designer. We do things in 3s.
Okay.
Father, Son, and House of Herby.
Okay.
Okay. Exposure to trauma can be I didn't know this. It can just be one event. So you saw a car accident. You were in a car accident. Somebody slapped you in the face for no reason on the train. A single event is one type of exposure. Repetitive events are considered complex trauma exposure. Okay. So if you're living with a toxic person or you're in an abusive relationship or you're being abused like physically, like on a consistent basis, or there's a lot of different ways to be traumatized, but the repetitive is complex. There's developmental trauma, which is from childhood.
Okay.
So this was one that I struggled with because I was like, but my childhood was perfect. Like, why would I have any trauma from that? That one's hard because you spent your whole adult life covering that shit up.
Yeah.
And then you got generational, bitch. You got generational trauma.
Damn, I need a break.
Which is like, yo, you were.
Need a break from the trauma.
You're black in America. You're Jewish, and your great grandma was in the Holocaust. It's like, okay, other generational traumas that are not related to that would be like, your mother was narcissistic and her mother was narcissistic and her mother was abusive. And it's just like keeps going.
Yeah.
And then you just have this is the last one about exposure. You're just around traumatized people. That can cause trauma.
See?
I just literally can't.
The fucking vibrational field of the things with the molecules.
So those are the categories that shocked me because
like that was 4. Was that 4 categories?
Single event, repetitive, developmental, which is childhood, generational, and just being around.
Okay,
trauma
5.
victims.
Got it.
So already we've just covered the entire fucking planet. Weren't we just saying the entire world is traumatized today?
Yeah, it feels like it.
It feels like the entire world is traumatized.
Like
and I think it's time that we all bring it to the light. Let's just be aware of this shit because that's how we can start the healing process. Mm-hmm. So what are the symptoms of trauma? What would your guess be?
What are the symptoms of trauma?
Yeah, how do you know that you're living with some form of trauma? Like, how do you even, what are even the reactions of the body?
So the reactions of the body? I mean, you would probably just not want to be like alone with yourself, or probably not want to be like conscious or something, because then you have to face it. So any kind of like suppressive mechanism, I guess.
That's
anger, all of the, any low vibrational anger, sadness, grief, depression.
Absolutely. So the internet says just feeling yucky, which I thought was really general. Mistrust. So I love this one, is really interesting. You just don't trust anybody. Hypervigilance, which I had to Google. I was like, bitch, what? It's just being hypervigilant. You're worried at all times about something bad is about to happen.
It's like you're always
looking around,
checking the door.
You're always checking around over your shoulder. Panic attacks, anxiety, depression, pain, just like physical pain somewhere in the body, shame, numbness, headaches. Ooh, that one I've had. Irritability, definitely had that.
You have had
self-destructive behaviors, addiction. So that's also self-destructive, I would say. Addiction to like overusing alcohol, overusing drugs.
Sure.
Being overwhelmed and being burned out, brain fog, loss of interest in shit that you used to like.
Apathy.
And then we got nightmares and insomnia. So it's fucking with your whole shit, y'all.
Yeah, that's the whole spectrum right there.
So if I haven't sold you on that, we're going to jump into recovery because we're not going to linger. We're not going to be victims and linger on this. If any of you have felt any of these symptoms, like, you are not alone.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Especially right now. Everybody in the planet has some sort of trauma right now.
For sure.
I mean, that's what it's been feeling like.
And like I said, like, part of this recovery is going to be self-care. Hello, my fave topic. But like, it's okay to admit that you've been hurt.
Also, women are way better at that than men.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the folks in the back, like, it's okay. It's okay to admit that you were hurt. It doesn't mean you are weak, but you're wasting your goddamn time living with all these horrible symptoms when you could just heal it or just jump on the path.
I just was reading Man's Search for Meaning, which is the Viktor Frankl book about he survived a concentration camp.
You read that book?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so dark. It's so intense. But he also finds like peace through it. Like he finds, I guess, like enlightenment or whatever. But he was a doctor, and he's like a medic there at the time, because whoever was like kind of had anything about they just threw them like, hey, you're the doctor now. And there was one person, he was talking about all the diseases that were cleared up. Like a lot of people didn't have certain things that they had back in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird. Like they thought their teeth were going to rot out, but that didn't happen. There were certain things. Of course, a lot of them, of course, did die of disease.
Developed, yeah.
But things like the body was able to just kind of like acknowledge what was going on, and it was crazy wild. But
the body is very resilient.
It's insanely resilient.
Yeah.
And he was also saying how there's this one guy who was one of the only patients that once he got sick, like didn't die. And it was because he said, how did you do it? And he's like, I wept it away. So he was like, I cried so hard for so long that I wasn't sick anymore.
Wow.
And it's like, oh my, it's hard. You can't
crying
really.
That's already one I don't have on my list, Nick.
Well, I feel like crying
is so
guess
helpful.
Who can't cry? Guess who can't cry?
You. I cry. Yes. I cry all the time.
I cry sometimes, but I just do like the slow trickle.
I'm like, I can't tell if it's allergies. Like this.
I just have to sneeze.
Being married to like a straight white man, it's like, what the fuck, dude?
I'm Irish from the Northeast. You're fucked.
Like, show some emotion. Damn.
I told you I had my tear ducts removed when I was 9.
Or you're gonna be like, all the dads that turn 60 and just cry constantly because you've just made a storehouse of emotional pain in your body.
Just stuff it deep.
It is not. We can talk about the patriarchy in a so different way.
But it's different. It's like girls are allowed to cry.
I agree.
That is such a huge.
I agree.
crazy.
There's a documentary about this.
Healthy, positive thing to do.
There is, yes.
Yeah.
It's
It's
very important. So if you've
super
ever
important.
if you've ever been afraid to cry and you don't cry, like I would definitely consider the next time you have the urge to try to go into a dark closet and just try to just go for it. That's all. I've never not been able to cry. I don't know what that feels like, but I imagine
you're a good crier.
I imagine if you don't cry often, you are suppressing it, and that's just not sustainable.
Yeah. No.
It's not.
No,
I've
it's not.
seen that in action with like some of my relatives. Okay, so let's get into the recovery because I'm tired of lingering on the pain and the sorrow of all this. And just remember, if you're feeling like helpless and hopeless, like
hey, we're gonna be okay.
We're gonna be okay.
Everybody's
We got you.
gonna be all right.
Yes,
we're gonna be okay. Even if it feels like it's not gonna be okay, we're gonna be all right.
So let's say
you're gonna be all right.
You've experienced trauma. Like, where do you begin? Bitch, it's gonna take time, and you're gonna have to be patient. That's the first thing. Okay. I can't believe how long my healing journey has been. And only from keeping a journal do I know that I've made progress.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much time and it takes a lot of effort. I would say it's comparable to exercising at the gym.
Interesting.
Every day you're going to do work.
Well, it's the same basic concept, right?
It is.
You have to you got to put in work for anything to like change.
You're changing the neurons and the electro something activity in your brain. That's what's happening because trauma
You're getting a brain transplant.
damaged it. It takes courage to acknowledge that you were hurt, and that's okay. So also, this is before we dive into this last bit. We perceive trauma as bad, right? Like most people would say, like it's fucking horrible,
right?
But later, after you do the work, pretty much every time you see that it helped you to grow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So if we could even just venture to say, let's welcome this shining a light on our trauma and starting this healing process because you get to be a badder bitch later.
Yes,
you do.
This is like a fundamental law of the universe. Like you can't
lose. You can't make the wrong choice.
You can't make the wrong choice.
Even if you regret something that caused you trauma, like you're going to get to be a badder bitch because of that.
Yeah, no, you absolutely fucking are. I guess it's like the concept of like never let any good suffering go to waste. I think that's like an Eckhart Tolle quote.
That's cute.
It's like almost everything ever came from that moment. All these wonderful, everything great ever came from that moment of super low. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's you just you're completely just like ripped open. There's like, take it all from me, God. You know what I mean? You got nowhere else to go. And from there, the only place to go is up. And like everybody always has these moments. And even if it's just creative moments or it feels that way in like your career or something. I know trauma is a way more serious, like intense thing.
Yeah.
But even if it feels that way of like, artists and, actors, musicians, and they're like, this song is it. And they put it out and why me, God?
Why would you do this?
Yeah, because it's intense and it feels so real. But
that's the dynamic that we're living with, having incarnated on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay, you made a great choice.
Another thing all these people say.
For extra credit, though.
All these people say in hypnosis too, Earth is like extra fucked.
we're talking about past life hypnosis,
yes.
Y'all. I know this is a whole different episode, but we love reading the transcripts.
It's so fascinating.
The doctor to the patient, to the doctor
to
to the patient.
Yeah.
And it's like they're all reporting the same shit. They're like, okay, I'm moving toward the light. Okay, my guide is meeting me at the gates, which is probably like heaven, basically. They call it the spirit world. Like, we really, according to these thousands of hypnosis patients that they've taken this information from. You can read these books, by the way. Shout out to Henry Schwartz, who sent me the Many Lives, Many Masters book. That one changed the game for me.
Yeah.
It's about one patient, which is fascinating because they uncover multiple past lives in this bitch.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's another one called Journey of Souls. That's amazing. But they all say the same thing, y'all. Even if you don't believe in this shit, listen to me right now.
Just look at it as like a funny,
Earth
crazy
is
case study.
really dense and it's really difficult. You came here to get extra credit and you can do this. Okay, so let's go through healing shit because I want to heal. I like healing. It's my vibe. I'm wearing green today. So my first piece of advice is like surround yourself with color green because
Transition 101.
I have so many solutions for you. I know it's crazy.
What is green? Tell me about green. What does green mean?
So the color green, this is why plants are green because it's a healing vibration.
Oh, okay.
No, it literally brings healing into your body.
Well, that's actually a thing they say in the reincarnation books too. The
color
green
therapy.
auras
Have you ever heard?
Were healers. Yeah.
The green aura, the green bitch. Do my aura cleanses. Let's start with aura cleanses. Let's start with self-care because she's fun. So what is self-care to me? Well, first of all, Audre Lorde, who's one of the great like women of color, queer activists of like, I want to say in the 70s, she was big. She actually coined the term self-care.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, because it's an act of political warfare to simply care for myself.
Jesus.
And I was like, wow, that's really where now we've watered it down to all these products and bath salts. Like, no, it's so much more than that. But self-care is literally doing things that make yourself feel loved. You have the power to love on yourself, and whatever that is for you is wonderful.
Okay.
So I think for me, it's like lighting a candle, like having a really nice smell, putting on some like beautiful, soothing music, and taking a hot bath. Like, bitch, that will put me in a way better mood and a way better vibration. Sometimes just washing my hair is like an act of political warfare. Like, I feel like I'm not going to kill my husband after I do that.
Oh, okay,
you know
great.
what I mean?
I am in full support of washing the hair.
So on a lighter note, self-care is wonderful. If you don't understand what it is, do some exploration.
Yeah.
Find out.
What would
masturbation, I'm sure, is a self-care act.
Definitely top 3 on my list.
It's so important. Rest is a great one. Taking breaks,
yes.
sleeping more.
I do like sleeping.
It takes a shitload of energy to heal.
Yeah.
What I noticed, like during my moments of trauma, when we were going through some shit this year, had to sleep.
A lot.
We were looking at each other like, did we just sleep
right
for 12 hours? Like, have we done this since we were 12 or 13? Like, that's incredible. Do not judge yourself if you're sleeping too much. If it's related to depression, I can jump to this. Therapy. I did a few sessions that were so like earth altering. Like,
so if you sleep too much, then that's on the other side.
You don't want to sleep to the point where you're like not getting out of bed at all.
Okay.
That's depression. That's like severe depression, and you want to make sure like there are you can find medications that can help you if you're in like that state. It depends what level of trauma you're at, right? And if you haven't begun healing, like sometimes you need a little extra assistance. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily forever, right?
Right.
A lot of these medications can just help you through a difficult time, and working with a therapist is fire. I know there's some websites. If you're in a rural area, it's harder to find therapy, like good therapists that are qualified in the specific traumas. So betterhelp.com I think is a cool one.
People could probably do it over Zoom now though, right?
And I love this woman, Lisa Romano, on YouTube. So you can start to YouTube like what you think your trauma might be. And there are certified therapists on YouTube giving free information, which I think is YouTube continues to blow my mind because it's free. Therapy is not always covered not everybody has access, right? Yeah. We're working on that. There's actually Loveland Foundation does it for Black women. There's just some like amazing charities that you can also participate in that are, because it is important to have somebody to talk to. Mm-hmm. But if you don't, and YouTube is available to you, Abraham Hicks.
Oh, yeah.
Abraham Hicks, like, fucks me up every time in the best way. Like, I always mean good when I say that. Fuck me up. She is that bitch. She is channeling. So her name is actually Esther, and she channels an entity called Abraham. I know it's a lot.
I love that.
It's a lot, right?
It is a lot.
But I promise you, if you spend literally 20 seconds listening to this woman speak,
it's pretty wild.
There is nothing more high vibrational that I've come across.
Yeah.
And she really helps people. It's astonishing.
It's also the confidence in the way that she speaks too. It's like, duh. You know what I mean? The way that it's like coming.
Oh, I spent
coming through her.
hours listening. I listened to her morning
You
meditation.
do? Oh,
My
I
morning,
remember.
like the good morning meditation I put on like this album, on the Woman album, was inspired by her. You know, one of her. I have a bunch of people that I admire.
We did that. Didn't you listen to that for years?
Years. She's like, it's a good day. It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add like, it's gonna be a good day, bitch. Get the fuck up and let's go. Let's do this. Bitch. Those are my meditations. I kind of like ruin her thing, but Abraham Hicks, Eckhart Tolle is your vibe. And I just started with him. I like it.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle I like a lot. And there's a book I read every year called Letting Go by David Hawkins that's talking about like, he gives this list in the first chapter. He gives this list of all these things you're going to do to like heal yourself. And he goes, it's like literally takes 5 minutes to read. It's like annoying at one point. It's like, dude, we get it. Stop. And what he's listing is things that he himself, I think, tried because he was in an incredible amount of pain. He had the most suffering. And so he was like, okay, fuck it. Nothing else is working. Again, fuck it stage. I need to find a way to heal myself.
Ugh.
And it was through surrender. It was through stopping fighting it and allowing and facing it and meeting it. And he has this whole process of like what that letting go is, like a technique that you have to like sit with the feeling and observe it and let it pass. So anyway, it's a book that I read every year because it's just a wonderful, like very, very high vibrational reminder of how to deal with shit because it's so fucking, it's letting go is when you do it, it's like, everything immediately feels better. Everything is just relieved. Your body posture changes. The stress is gone. So it's so simple, and at the same time, it can be fucking impossible.
Well, just like healing from trauma, like we said, it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's hard to make this a practice, make it a habit, which is another episode that we can do for this podcast.
Yeah, totally.
Habits,
I'm a fucking
forming
habit
habits.
guy.
Okay, so going down the list some more. We got breathing and meditation. I put these together because we do the Wim Hof every morning. If you don't know what this is, you're basically type in Wim Hof breathing on YouTube. And you take 30 breaths. Okay, the first time you might feel a little lightheaded. You're going to be okay.
You're going to be all right.
What it is you're learning the connection with your body, your heartbeat, and your oxygen intake. Yeah. And then he has you stop breathing for an entire minute. And the first time I did this, you guys, I thought, there's no way I can hold my breath for a minute. There's no way. And I did it. And I was like, oh, that was enough for me to go through 3 rounds.
It's 3 rounds. You do a minute and a half the last 2.
And some people say they cry when this, because it's like, it also releases trauma.
It does.
And it helps you to live longer. It reoxygenates your cells in your body. It clears
disease from your body.
They're proving this. I mean, you can look more into Wim Hof. Again, Wim Hof breathing on YouTube, huge help for us.
Yeah, we hold our breath now for like 3.5 minutes.
We've doubled we just start like doubling it now when we do the exercise. So you can build it up. You can stay right there. If it's too hard for you, he's got an easy one up now.
Yeah, he's got a bunch.
He's got an easy one. If it's too intense for you, he wants to help introduce you to that relationship. I didn't know that when my heart started racing due to anxiety, I didn't know that I could control it. I learned the mind-body connection through Wim Hof. That was my value.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is now when I feel anxious, I do know
you're going to be all right. You can handle it.
You have to learn the feeling. It's a training.
Yeah, it's you're going to be confidence that you have that you're going to like. You're learning what it feels like in your body that you're going to be okay. Even if your heart is accelerating and then you need to like hold your breath. Like no, it's practice.
This video has like 70 million views. By the way, like it's changing people's lives. And the quick sell is that you can hold your breath for a whole minute, bitch. Find out. I need you to, so many of my friends I sent this to, they're like, yeah, sure, Queen, I'll do it. They never fucking do it.
Do it. Tell me how long you can hold your breath for.
Yo, it's crazy. It's so cool. So meditation is obviously sitting in silence for 10 minutes or longer and trying to not think of things. Definitely challenging, but there's some guided ones that are good.
Yeah,
we started guided.
We started with guided.
Now we're on just music.
Or breathing ones where you just breathe. It just has someone breathing.
Correct.
Just Darth Vader, breath in the background.
But it does tend to immediately change. When I say immediately, in 10 minutes, if you could change your bad fucking attitude or your anxiety, would you do it?
Yeah.
Meditation helps. Okay?
Meditation helps a lot.
It works. There's a bunch of studies.
But when the pandemic hit, and there was that kind of like, you were getting those texts every day from your buddies being like, the military's coming right now. Get out. You know what I mean? Like
they're about to be out of soup.
Yeah.
The grocery store's out of toilet paper and soup.
No, it was just crazy, and you had to kind of be like, all right, everybody. Are we going to freak out?
It's when you find out which ones of your friends are actually like scared cats. Are we going to freak out?
Exactly. Are we going to freak out, or are we going to get through this? That's when we decided, we were like, okay, look, we can go one of two ways. We can go and follow the freak out.
The fear spiral.
And just go into the doom fear spiral.
I went across the street one day to the the convenience store, and I bought all the popcorn. It was so...
Why was that your go-to?
It was so epic. Weren't we like hanging out with James Charles?
There's like gallons of water.
We were, like, hanging out
and she's like, popcorn.
To be fair, I feel like popcorn would last in an apocalyptic situation.
Don't back her up on this.
No, I get it.
The next pandemic, we're going to be all just gallons of popcorn. The point of what I'm getting to is that when we decided, like, actually, let's try to not go the freak out doom spiral and meditate every day, be like very
we stepped
in
our
ourselves.
Pussies up. We stepped our pussies all the way up.
The point is, it took probably 6 months for me to even sit still when I first started meditating. It's a huge chasm that you have to cross there, because the way, especially we are with phones and all that shit every day, we are so ADHD now.
What did I say? Time and patience.
That's
what it's going to take. You are worth it.
You are. And know it's going to take time, and that's okay.
Okay, moving down the list, because we could talk about this for 100 years. Exercise. I hate it.
You do Why do you hate exercise so much?
Let's
talk about it. Let's heal this trauma.
I am inherently lazy. I love to wear sweatpants, and at the gym,
I can be lazy too sometimes.
Doubt it.
But I cannot.
You're a mover and a shaker. I'm a stopper and a slow down.
Stopper and a slower.
Can I take another bath? So it's where I get all my song ideas from. Hate exercise, but when I did it for about a year straight, it did make me feel so much better mentally.
Bigly betterly.
And I loved the way my body looked, which gave me confidence, which also helped me heal and deal. Helped me heal and deal.
You have been blessed with an incredible earth body.
Thank you. So have you. I like yours.
Why, Alex? That was the best. It was the most romantic part of the
I love having Alex
podcast
here, because he's like, the people listening at home are having the same response, because
wow, what an incredible earth body.
That's your new pickup line.
It's a new Hallmark card.
Yeah, you have an incredible earth body.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Is that our shirt for this episode? You have it pickup lines.
You have an incredible earth. Hello. You have an incredible earth body.
Okay. That is a red t-shirt.
Do you want a martini?
Mm-hmm. Don't drink my martini after
I did already.
Okay. So yoga and stretching. I mean, come on. I hate exercise, so yoga and stretching are nice gateway drugs.
They are.
You can start.
No, yoga is hard as fuck.
Try to touch your toes. Start with, it's harder than it looks.
Yoga is incredibly difficult.
It is. So I think that I also did Pilates for like a whole hot second.
Pilates.
Oh, fucking Pilates.
Massive. Go fuck yourself.
It was cool. Like, I enjoyed the core strength of that. I respect that whole, it's all practices, right? So move your body, heal your brain. Next one, music, y'all. Music is so healing. If I just put on Celine Dion and cry, everything's fine.
It's the cry. Yeah.
The next healing category, ASMR. Can we talk about this?
Let's talk about this. What does ASMR stand for?
Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
Ooh.
So people think it's so strange, and I started using this as like a healing modality, I want to say during the Carmen days, because I was having trouble sleeping. And this...
Oh, yeah, I remember you showed me all these videos.
This brilliant... I was like, look at this. People are buying these binaural microphones, like where they split the microphone into two sides so it feels like your left and right ears if you use the headphones. Like, it's not too much different than theta waves and beta waves and all, like the audio healing. But you see a person, so if you've ever been to the hairdresser and they touch your head and you're like, oh, you feel tingles, or if you've been to the doctor's office and they're like,
I do get the tingles at the doctor's office for whatever reason.
You know, and they're making like weird sounds and they're checking your heartbeat. Okay.
Maybe you should find a new doctor.
If you have a doctor that makes those sounds. But
he's like, here, take a hit off of this. Do you feel the tingles?
It's like this tingly sensation that you receive from being cared for. If you'd like to discover your ASMR triggers, because there's something so comforting and warm about it. Like when I do the aura cleanses, for me, it's the spray. The sound of spray bottles like just makes me like melt, and you feel safe. I don't think it's a sexual feeling. A lot of people watch these and they're like, "Oh, it's weird. It's kinky." It's like, no. It's motherly.
Yeah, no, it's motherly.
It's a different trigger. It's a feeling of safety. So that's how I feel about it. There's a woman called Latte on YouTube, and she is so talented. Latte ASMR. And then I love my Reiki healers that are on YouTube that combine ASMR and Reiki by proxy, which is basically like sending you Reiki energy and healing through the freaking phone. So my favorite currently is Loon Innate, and we can link these in the description for you. Next one is support groups. Who do you turn to when you have traumatic events? Who do you talk to? Family is helpful as long as they're not the ones traumatizing you. Friends are helpful as long as they're not the ones traumatizing you. Or otherwise. They do have support groups for like narcissistic abuse and all kinds of abusive like groups. So find people. I had you, and I had some friends to talk to during my healing times, and even my audience is an outlet for me to discuss my challenges, and thank you for that. Journaling, apparently, if you use a journal to feel your feelings, to like write them down, it's kind of a form of like accepting them, which is an important part of the process. And even if you rip the page out and throw it in the garbage. So that's really helpful.
Not that I've ever done it.
One that you brought up today, this is another one on my list.
Don't point at me.
Creativity.
Yes.
Make art.
What the fuck are we talking about?
See, but here's the thing. When I was going through my traumatic event, I was not creative.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually a traumatizing feeling.
Because you didn't feel safe.
I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
So if you can...
Hence why it's been a minute since we got music out.
Right. If you can make art, if you can write, if you can sculpt, paint, if you can record music, that is a great option if you're available emotionally.
No, that's such an incredibly important thing to do.
It is. And if you're not creative right now because you're going through a traumatic event, bitch, you are about to be. Because I wrote a great fucking album from this experience. So good. Okay, next one is podcasts. I didn't even really listen to podcasts until I made one.
It's out there.
It's out there. This is how I feel. No, I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like the women, especially the female podcasts I listen to, are so comforting. I feel like I'm just hanging out with my favorite people, and they're all talking about shit that I'm into. So the podcasts have really helped me heal. There's one called Anxiety Chicks that was like so helpful. I had no idea. Like I just needed to know, like, what is anxiety? Like, let me hear a therapist, and I think the other girl's a nutritionist, talk about it. It was wonderful.
Oh, nice.
Unlocking Us with Brene Brown. Totally blows my mind almost every week. So crazy. Whitney Cummings. She's funny. She's smart. She's quick-witted. Like, she had Jeanette McCurdy on the other week, and it was so amazing.
Oh, yeah. Jesus.
Talking about their abuse and talking about their trauma. And it was so good. It was so eloquent. And it just makes you feel not alone. So I love podcasts for that. Books. This is my last one, is books.
America.
The end of the list. Books. Okay. Obviously, Letting Go by David Hawkins. I mean, there's amazing books. If you're an audiobook bitch, get you an Audible account and make it happen. I do read a lot of books, but mostly it's for learning about things that I'm trying to grow. I haven't read any real books about trauma. I've been recommended some.
Yeah.
But I like the more like talking to somebody, listening to somebody, processing things.
Yeah.
But there are some amazing books out there about this.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to do it by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to do it by myself. I have to like sit with it and talk to it and allow it.
And I just want to remind you that you are safe. You're safe. I know it doesn't feel like it.
Can we link it? There's a David Hawkins video too on YouTube called, I think it's literally called Let Go, You Are Safe.
It's amazing.
So we'll link that
We're
one.
We're going to load you up with resources. And
you got fucking all
just
the resources.
Click on the ones that resonate.
Yeah.
The ones that caught your ear. You don't have to go through all of them. Don't be a perfectionist like me. It's talking about feeling safe, because this is kind of like a huge tenet of our podcast, is a safe space.
Okay.
What does it actually mean to be safe? Because I think women have taught us a lot about feeling safe.
Women have taught me a lot about feeling safe.
We just need to have more grace for each other. We need to
We do. You don't know what people are going through,
You don't know
man.
what, even if they're a shitty person. I've seen this so many times now where I know this person is a negative Nancy.
There's a reason.
There's a reason every fucking time.
Yes.
By the way, like, we didn't go into like narcissists and codependence and all these different personality disorders that people experience from an overwhelm of trauma.
Right.
Even though we're like, oh, narcissists are bad. It's like they have been
There's a reason.
traumatized. They are
Yes.
abused. They are, man, it is so tragic to me. It breaks my heart. And I just think it's time for us to start looking inward and figuring this shit out.
Yeah.
And giving resources. Like, we are not professionals by any stretch. If you need help, call a therapist, call a licensed professional. But this is just really, it's time. Like, you can be physically, sexually, emotionally, spiritually, like, you can be abused in every way. And it is our job now to shine light on it, figure out what the program is for our own custom healing plan, and to give that to ourselves, because we need your art. So that probably, we should have to end this on a good note.
We gotta end this
but
on a good
remember,
note.
yes, remember that
We're going to be okay.
we're going to be okay.
You're going to be okay.
You're going to be fine.
You look great.
You're going to be a badder bitch. No, it is make art and listen to this podcast again and again until you realize that you are worth it. And we do need your art and the
There
healing.
are incredible resources on the internet.
There are. If you enjoy this podcast, please rate and review on whatever
Hashtag
platform you listen on, because this really does help us. And we're trying to like get to more people and do that thing and do the things that we're supposed to
Shave my
think.
hat.
But we do have one good thing that somebody sent in. This is so fascinating. Wait, let me just pull it. Okay, Brittany. It's Brittany, bitch. On YouTube. On YouTube, there's a Brittany whose comment was the following. A nice thing I did was during the new moon in Libra, I conducted a free hour-long ceremony for my new friend where I did manifesting spell work and Reiki healing the whole time.
Okay.
It was intense, but felt super magical. And 3 hours later, she got great news. And then the next day, her meeting went through for a dream she had been manifesting. That was 12 years, a dream that was 12 years in the making. Her screenplay sold.
Oh, shit. Congrats.
Wow, that's so wild. She thanked me a lot and told me I was magical and told me if I ever needed anything to let her know, but her happiness and success was all I needed. Stay beautiful out there.
Damn, bars.
That's what Brittany said.
Wow. Good job.
Holy
Brittany.
shit.
That's pretty cool.
That is our people. Brittany's a healer. She did a little healing sesh on a new
make a
friend
little love.
and changed her goddamn life.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
Fucking right.
Well, you don't need to be a healer to do a good thing. Even if you do pick up somebody else's dog shit, we will talk about you. That being said, what we would love to try, this is just a trial. It's a trial period with only 3 small payments.
If you call right now.
We're going to try a Q&A episode. What do you think?
Let's do it.
We should try
Let's
it.
talk in a microphone.
We're just going to answer your questions. So where do they submit questions? What's the easiest?
Yeah, I don't know. On YouTube?
We're thinking YouTube. And I was thinking if you are like wanting it to be confidential for whatever reason. I mean, if you want it to be confidential, don't submit it because I'm going to read it. QveenHerby.com also has a concierge. You can click on the menu and send it privately. Or if you just want to tell me how gorgeous I am.
That's where I'll put mine.
You want to tell me how gorgeous my poodles are.
You like how your what are?
Poodles.
Oh.
Look at these two.
I thought you said nipples.
If you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, can you see our gorgeous poodles?
Little battles.
And they are here, and they make us so happy.
They're little men in bear suits.
Mans in bear suits.
Mans in bear suits.
Yes. But thank you for watching. We're so grateful for all of you for listening, and we are here to root for you on your healing trauma journey. Until next week, we love you.